That's right, and we continue to track some of these isolated scattered showers across Hampton Road, some of those outer rain bands of Hurricane Florence. We're waiting on that 5 o'clock advisory as well. That'll probably come in here in about another half hour or so. Let's get right to the radar because we have seen some heavier downpours, some tropical downpours. We had a couple of tornado warnings earlier. If you were watching, Tim and Crystal doing a great job tracking those storms as they came off right here, right around the Outer Banks of Currituck County and near Knott's Island and work their way back through parts of southern Chesapeake. We have seen a few of those isolated showers off towards the north as well. The heaviest of the rain continues down across eastern North Carolina, but we'll give you a closer look here. Notice how everything is pretty much moving here from southeast to northwest. So some of these heavier downpours around Franklin will be moving here through southern Southampton County. We've got a few more here through southern parts of Suffolk. They extend back here to Highway 17 as you exit Chesapeake and head down towards South Mills. A few more through Chowan County, crossing the Chowan River over into Hertford County. So again, we'll see a few of these isolated scattered showers and thunderstorms through the rest of the evening as the main part of the storm continues to spin. Center of circulation right here, very close to the North Carolina-South Carolina state line. And it is a very, very slow mover, as we talked about at the top of the broadcast. Right now, moving to the west at only 6 miles per hour. And that's why it's producing just so much rain. We were saying that some of the computers were saying up to 40 inches of rain in some locations, and we'll take a look at some of those rainfall totals here in a minute. Notice by Sunday it starts to be picked up by a front and it'll eventually curve back around and move off towards the northeast. But again, still a lot of concerns back through Charlotte, the mountains of Virginia and West Virginia, and even up into the northeast as they were saturated by the remnants of Gordon not too long ago. Unofficial rainfall totals from Florence. Just check this one out at Emerald Isle. 33.97 inches, again unofficial, but Wrightsville Beach not too far away picking up 20 inches of rain, nearly that amount. In Surf City 15 inches. Near Jacksonville, that's near Camp Lejeune, and Wilmington picking up almost 13 inches of rain, and of course it's still raining there, so we'll be monitoring that situation across eastern North Carolina. For us, isolated to scattered showers and thunderstorms through the rest of the evening. Again, not everybody will see the rain. We'll say about a 50-50 chance of you seeing rain for the rest of the night. But those east and northeast winds will continue through tonight and tomorrow. More the same tomorrow, breezy to windy conditions. Winds out of the east, a few isolated to scattered showers and thunderstorms, temperatures around 80 degrees or so. And same thing as we get into Saturday night and Sunday, a few isolated showers and thunderstorms. Not an all-day rain, but it'll continue to be breezy with those easterly winds coming in. And that's why we still run the risk of seeing some issues with some tidal flooding, probably on the minor to possibly moderate levels. Notice that this afternoon we got up to 4.6 feet, likely up to about 4.9 as we go through the overnight hours, 5.1 into tomorrow afternoon. And then by Sunday, as the winds finally start to shift, we should start to see those tidal levels coming down. Cloudy skies across the peninsula right now up in Newport News, 81 degrees, easterly winds at 13 miles per hour. It's 80 in Virginia Beach, 79 Williamsburg, 77 Saluda, 82 in Edenton. Later tonight, low of 74. Minor to possibly some moderate tidal flooding, windy and mild, easterly winds 15 to 25, gusting up to 35, 82 tomorrow, 74 tomorrow night with a few showers around, and then isolated to scattered showers and thunderstorms on Sunday, 83. And then things finally start to improve as we get into the middle part of next week. Monday and Tuesday, with that heat and humidity, still a few scattered showers and storms around, but we finally start to dry out by the middle part of the week. But it'll remain pretty warm for this time of year. Normal high is 80 degrees. We'll be in the mid to upper 80s right through Friday.